In this unit, we'll be doing constructions using our geometry tools. And so we need to just go back through and make sure we understand the difference between sketches, drawings, and constructions. A sketch, as you'll see here, is just something you draw by hand to help you figure out a problem. A drawing is when you use some tools like a ruler and a protractor. But a construction is when you're going to actually use a compass and a straight edge. You can have very accurate drawings. You could also use patty paper and a mirror, since that's what we've done. So to clarify that, a sketch is a freehand sketch. It does not use any geometry tools. Drawings are done carefully and accurately. You should use a protractor for your angles and a ruler to measure sides. When you're doing constructions, you're only using a compass and a straight edge. And then we will be doing some duplicating, and so that just means to copy using your construction tools. And of course, for us, that also includes patty paper, and the mirrors that we used the other day. So we're ready to go ahead and get started. You should have your compass out and your straight edge, whatever that is, and we're just going to follow the steps. Looks like stage one is to draw a ray, so I will do that. And you'll notice that I won't always put an arrow at the end, and I won't always put a point down here, but it gets you a place to look at, and if you are going to draw a point, make it small, so you're just looking at that very end. We want to measure the length from A to B, so I'm going to use my compass to do that, and that's going to give me that most accurate measure. So there's the distance from A to B. I'm going to turn my compass around, make it a little more useful to me. I'm going to point at the end of my ray, and I'm going to make an arc so I can see that point of intersection. And I know that distance is exactly the same as it is from A to B because I measured it. So this is C, and I'll call this D. And I know that AB is congruent to CD. If you're asked to construct a multiple of a segment, just kind of plan ahead a little bit. I can see how long AB is. If I have to construct three times that length, I want to visually go more than that. It's just easier than going back later, but you can always do that. I'll do the same thing. I'll measure this new AB. Looks like it's a different length, as accurately as I can. That's pretty good. And then I will put it at the end, make an arc, and keep doing that. Let's see, my arc didn't quite intersect. So there's 1 AB, there's 2 AB, and there's 3 AB. I don't need to go back and erase any of those arcs. I can if I want to, but a construction, it's really nice to see those because then you can tell how accurate it is. So the distance all the way from the beginning to the end is 3 AB. To duplicate an angle, you'll notice that the first step is the same. Draw a ray. So I'm going to start with stage one here. I'm going to draw a ray that will eventually be probably the bottom side of my angle. I'm going to go to my original. I'll make this a little bit smaller so it's easier to work with. I'm going to put my point on the vertex. And I'll make an arc anywhere I want to on the angle. I'm going to pull this in a little bit so we don't think it has to go through point up. But whatever measurement I want, my compass opening, I'm going to make an arc that intersects both rays. I'm going to take the compass, put the point down at the end of my ray, and make an arc. It's about the same. And I notice that I have some points of intersection, so that's what I'm looking at, is these 2 points of intersection up here, and this one down here. I want that distance between them to be the same. I'm going to use my compass again, put my point on one point of the intersection, and I'm going to move my pencil to the other one, so I'll have to do some adjusting. And it looks pretty good. And I'll bring it down and I'll put it to the other point of intersection, so notice where that point is going, the pen on your compass. And now I've got a point of intersection. I will use my straight edge to connect my vertex to the point of intersection, and those two angles should be congruent. You could measure yours to see how it is. It looks like my one line slid down a little bit, but that's okay. So that's E, let's call this G, and I can say that angle E is congruent to angle G because I just constructed it. Try one more, that is angle CAT. Go through the steps. You could pause it and try it, and I'll go ahead and go through the steps so you can check if you'd like. Here's my ray. Make an arc on the original. Make an arc on what will be the new one. Make sure the end point is at the end point of the ray. Measure the distance from the points of intersection. And mark off. I need to get that nice point of intersection here. And make straight edge, connect the vertex to the point of intersection. And the two angles, you could measure them. They should be congruent. So we could say angle A, or CAT if you want, is congruent to angle, how about G, angle G.